left Christianity and fundamentalist churches, I realized that the doctrine teaches its members to choose God instead of family. So I recently came out as atheist on October 25th of 2025. I was not surprised that my family ignored it or haven't addressed it. Several months ago, I told my mother that I had been depressed and suicidal from 18 to 22. This would have been about 15 years ago, in the 2012 to 2016 era. And my mother's response was, "Oh." And we've never talked about it again. We didn't even talk about it when I mentioned it. I said 2 sentences, and my mother said nothing. That kind of clued me in to the kind of person my mother is. Or, let's be honest here, that's completely what my family is, to a T. If it's something they don't know how to deal with, or a truth that doesn't fit in with their narrative, they just ignore it. It's kind of like I've never come out. So, tomorrow, Thanksgiving, a happy Turkey Day to those that celebrate it, I got invited to go over to my family's house. Of course, on November 14th, my father told me explicitly not to call my mother anymore because when she talks to me, she gets upset. And they still invited me over for Thanksgiving. I'm not sure what to do about that. They ghost me, then they talk to me, then they want me to go no contact, and then they invite me over for Thanksgiving. And for those in the audience who thinks that is going to be some reconciliation, it's great that they've reached out to you. That has nothing to do with it. They're not reaching out to me because they want to know more about it, or that they have any curiosity. It's not about that. My family are experts in gaslighting. And I don't even think it's intentional. It's just who they are. They can't not gaslight. They make a big deal about, basically my coming out made my mother cry. Luckily, I did it through text. Because every time me and my siblings changed anything about our lives, my mother would basically have a meltdown. And if you want to know what kind of issues I've had, watch my deconstruction videos. But the way my family behaves, or sometimes the lack of any behavior, stems from the idea that fundamentalist churches teach their members to choose their relationship with God, their religion, their comfort over actual people. And my family, especially my parents, chose their religion over me. No child, atheist, gay, bi, trans, should ever have to deal with the fact that their parents will choose anything over their kid. Wouldn't wish that on anybody. But you know, at the end of the day, it's much more peaceful not talking to my parents, except maybe once a month. And yeah, some people might say that's just terrible. But is it? Is it really? I'm used to so much chaos. And fundamentalism, it just teaches people to choose their relationship with God, their religion, their traditions, everything over me. And I'm not going to lie and say that it isn't hurtful, that it does not affect me. Being rejected or ignored by your family, your parents, is very hard to deal with. And for those listening that have come out for any legitimate reason, and I mean any reason is legitimate, you may or may not have experienced what it's like when your family either ignores you coming out, acts like it never happened, that there's nothing different, or worse, they scream at you. You have to deal with the fact that your parents' love is extremely conditional, and there's not much you can do about it. And yeah, it's pretty effed up for family to choose anything over the people they claim to care about. But that is the way religion works. Not all religion, obviously, but the kind of religion I grew up in. They care more about image and how they see themselves and how others see them than somebody that they gave birth to. And luckily I've been in counseling for almost 3 years. I kind of got a very good idea and expectation what my family was going to do. And they never surprised me. They're pretty consistent. And for anyone who came out and deserved to have parents who acknowledge that they're different, celebrate that difference, even if it's not instant, but at least going toward that direction. Everyone who comes out deserves parents who understand, empathize, and support. And for those whose parents were unable or unwilling to be the bare minimum of being a parent when it comes to kids deciding their own lives, I would recommend counseling and a support group. It's something that no child should ever have to deal with, finding out that their parents' love is conditional, with expectations. But I always say, just because someone has the ability to have a kid doesn't mean they're equipped or willing to be a decent person. And it's really hard when your family and your parents choose their beliefs over you, a living, breathing person. And coming out, you have to understand that if your family is in Christianity or fundamentalism, they view your difference of belief as a threat. They view it as turning away from their version of truth, which is a very scary thing. And I'm not defending their actions. There's no excuse for ghosting somebody, ignoring somebody, going no contact with somebody. There's no excuse for treating somebody who has the courage to come out and just try to be transparent with integrity. There's no excuse for throwing somebody over. And it sometimes has nothing to do with coming out. Religious people, or anyone in general, they will show their true colors sometimes during awkward, uncomfortable, life-changing moments. And just remember, it's not about you. Their inability or lacking desire to be what you need at a time in which you need it, it has nothing to do with you. People's shitty behavior has nothing to do with you. I just store up that information for later. And if people are incapable of having the decency to even respond, make sure that the person who comes out is okay, and that regardless of how you live your life, we support and care about you. If they can't even do the bare minimum, there's something definitely wrong with them. It has nothing to do with you. And my mother cries and makes it all about her. It's just classic Christian victim complex. If you raise your kid to make their own decisions and they choose to be exactly the opposite of what you are, you're not a failure as a parent. Because every adult between the age of 16 and 25 makes a choice how they live their life. And some people make the right choice, some people don't. Some people live half their life and realize that they should have lived a different way. And it's real sad when people find out that their family is just terrible. But don't internalize it. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something definitely wrong with them. And there's a lot of people on this planet, even if they're not your family, they could be people in a religious environment. They have to cling to their beliefs because the world would be terrifying if they actually faced the question, what if I'm wrong? And a lot of times, family reacts badly, or friends and community acts terribly, because they're so afraid of your choosing something else they view as a threat, that instead of reacting like a decent human being, they instead decide to protect themselves and their beliefs and act shitty. And the community, some communities will reject you, punish you, and throw you out. Luckily, I don't really have a community, but it doesn't make it any easier. So no, I'm not surprised when I realize that churches teach its members to choose their beliefs over a living, breathing human being that sometimes was brought into the world by these people. And any love that's conditional, I'd just rather it not find me. I'd just rather live without conditional love than have it near me. And sometimes that's creating boundaries, gray walling, and just shutting down certain behavior and specific discussions. If people can't or won't respect you, that has nothing to do with you. They're just a shitty person. And religion brings out the worst in people. But not every religious person is going to go off the deep end when you deconstruct or come out. So you might be surprised. But a lot of people, including myself, are ghosted or just ignored. And it's just another reason why I left Christianity and why I would rather stick a needle in my eye than be in these environments.